Hi everyone. I'm sorry, I think it's 2 minutes past 1. Oh, I look quite red as well. Never mind. Hello everybody. I hope you're all good, whoever's joining us this week. It's been one of those lovely but really busy Friday mornings. So whilst people kind of join the session, I thought I'll share what I've been up to. So far this morning, I met with a range of students working on different projects. And we've had some real wins. So one of my students has been working on some computational code, and it's quite a challenging code to operate and to get to work. And they've just been successful in getting part of it to do what they wanted it to do, which is really exciting. I've got a couple of other students. One's analysing data, one's working on a paper. I've got a team of undergraduate students who are currently looking at a research project for an industrial sponsor. So it's just really busy. But I think these kind of weeks are the weeks that kind of remind you why I really like being an academic. Yes, there's a lot going on and I'm sort of running between meetings. I mean, I've not had my lunch yet. It's sort of piled to one side. But it's really fulfilling to see the different research projects develop and to see actually the students kind of grow in confidence in their research areas and to form their lines of thought and their new thinking. It's just nice to see it progress, I guess. So yeah, that's been quite busy. And then the teaching this week has been actually a really nice teaching week. I don't know how much teaching you will have at the moment in semester. We're coming up to what we call our spring vacation. So the students here, they've got another week to go after this one, and then they will get themselves a 3-week holiday. Well, I say holiday, they don't really get holiday. They'll be going off and doing some kind of coursework. Hopefully they will take some days of holiday because it is really important to have a break. But mainly they'll be doing their coursework in bits and pieces. And as academics, of course, we don't get a holiday, not in the traditional sense of like a 3-week break. We will be having the university shut for a few days, and there are a few bank holidays coming up as well. So actually we get a decent amount of time off. But because we're coming up to that last week before we break now for the spring break, it is often quite busy for students. Often courses might set their coursework deadlines or some early pieces of assessment due this coming up week. And it's sometimes the week where we want to have project meetings before students break. And so it can mean that they have rather full timetables. Oh, sorry if you can hear bike noises outside. I think I've got a motorbike about to disappear off. So yes, it can be busy. And I think the trick as an academic here is not to schedule too much for the students. And by that, I mean put additional things on top of their timetabled workload. So we're trying to get in a couple of extra projects for a couple of the things I'm working on. But I have to be mindful of the fact that I can't overload that timetable week. And so I do try to make sure I'm spacing them out and definitely having those meetings. Right, the bike's gone now. Definitely having those meetings within working time, just to be mindful of the fact they've got other things going on. But yeah, I had a good couple of classes this week. It's nice. We had a session where I had some expert speakers were invited in, and that the academic is always really nice. So, most classes I'm standing up and I'm delivering the class. But on this particular occasion, I had speakers coming in, which meant that I didn't have to deliver the entire class. So I had to facilitate it, but not deliver the whole thing. And it's almost like a break lecture when you get those ones, because you're not having to worry about your own personal technical content. You're just worrying about facilitating the session. So that was nice to have something different to do. And apart from that, I had my regular classes. My academic colleagues seem quite busy with their regular classes. And of course, when the students hand in their courseworks next week, and one of my modules does have coursework that's handed in next week, I will then get the marking. Now, this will vary, I guess, at different universities, the regulations on how quickly you have to do your marking. So most universities will set a number of weeks in which the marking must be completed and the feedback given to the student. And so typically you're looking at a period maybe of 2 or 3 weeks. Quite often it's 3 weeks to allow for some kind of moderation of the marks. And so that period of time doesn't actually count across the spring break. And I think sometimes students think that when we start the spring break, the clock still counts when we're doing the marking. It actually pauses. So I have the spring break of 3 weeks where the undergraduates are away. And when the undergraduates start their next semester or come back to resume their semester, that's when my marking weeks kick in. So I then have 3 weeks to turn the marks around and give it back to them. But because we've had the 3 weeks of spring break as well, rather than waiting 6 weeks, what often happens is academics will mark that work actually during their vacation period of the students, and they'll get their marks quicker when they come back. And sometimes that can be really useful, especially if you're coming into the second part of the second semester. Students are building up to their final exams for that particular year. And especially for our final year students, they're building up to their very final exams. And so getting that feedback back to them on the earlier pieces of coursework can sometimes, I think, help plan their revision and what they're going to do next. So that's something I will try to factor in and get done. And also, I'm one of those academics where if I get marking, I like to just do it. I like to get the marking just ticked off and out the way. I think in the same way that students like to either get the coursework done or they leave it to the last minute, it's the same with academics. We either like to get our marking done really quickly or we save it until the last minute. And I'm definitely a let's mark quickly kind of person. But apart from that, it's been sort of, just a normal business as usual week. So I hope your weeks are going well. I'd love to know where you are in the semester. Do you get a break or do you have to keep working kind of through the next few months? It's also the point of the semester where if you've got a lecture course, it can start to feel, I think, quite tiring potentially at this point. Academics here have been lecturing for 6 weeks. Next week will be their 7th week. And I know people in the teaching sector, when you're teaching the younger years, you're teaching multiple weeks back to back. I think the same comes up when you're in that community too, that after a certain number of weeks of teaching consecutively, you do start to feel it. Even if you're very organised and have all your materials prepared, you still have to, week in, week out, stand up in front of a class full of people and deliver that content and deliver that subject in an enthusiastic and productive and clear way. And it does take its toll. And I know it's the job. I've got friends say, oh, but you're so lucky, you have a lovely job. And I really am. I do have a lovely job. But I think you shouldn't take away from the fact that you are perfectly entitled to feel tired and like you've had enough when you get to this point in the semester. And I think, it's not only the students that need a break. I think quite often it's the academics we also need to just step away from teaching. Even if we're not taking a break because we're working on research grants or projects, just stepping away and not being in that lecture theatre, for multiple classes during a week is quite a nice change. So that's coming up and something else to do. But apart from that, one thing I was going to shout out, and I haven't really shouted out about this before, is I designed some academic kind of like funky t-shirts, because I think within the world of academia, it can be really hard and it can be really difficult, and there's lots of times we have to work really hard for deadlines and things, and actually we should really celebrate moments, achievements, goals, when things happen well that we like. And so I've designed some kind of t-shirts to celebrate those occasions. So they're quite simple. They have like slogans on the front if you like. So one says like Viva Survivor, which is a really classic feeling when you've done a Viva, be it a Viva for your PhD or your Masters or your Bachelor's. It can really feel like you've had to survive something. So there's that t-shirt. I'm actually wearing one right now. My one currently says Proud Supervisor, because I know there's a lot of exciting things that have happened this week, which I want to celebrate. There's first paper, and there's ones that say like new lecturer, I think reader goals. So all sorts of things like that. So if you have had a moment in your life within your academic space that you want to celebrate, or if you've got somebody and you want to give them something to celebrate their academic achievement, check it out. I'll put a link somewhere to it. They're all nice, I think it's a really nice, sustainable, ethical company I'm working with. So they're nice quality t-shirts. There's some stickers, there's some tote bags and stuff like that. As I said, I don't tend to promote the merchandise very much. I think I probably should do a better job of it. You get to the shop by going through my website, Dr CST, and I think maybe at some point I'll port it over here onto YouTube as well. But anyway, that's enough of a shout out. It feels a bit odd shouting out about your own merchandise, but I probably should do it more often. So hey, I've ticked it off once. At least I've shouted out about it once. So apart from that, I am now going to crack on. I've got afternoons meetings. I'm going to finish up my lunch. We had a offer holders day last Saturday. So this is a day where people who've been made an offer to study a course at the university get to come back to the university and decide whether they want to list it as their first or second choice on the university processing form. So it was a busy day, it was a whole Saturday morning given up to it, which I really enjoyed. Lots of student visitors coming in with their supporters, their friends and their family. And it's like a day of activities. So they get tours of the department, they get to chat with academics in small groups. There's a couple of fun lectures, one's on the department and one's on like a really interesting area of research that's kind of lively and engaging. And it's just a nice day, and it's just nice to meet people who are just at the start of going off to university. Hearing all their excitement, what they're looking forward to, which courses they want to do, some of the worries potentially. It's a big step moving to university and changing your accommodation, changing your location, living independently, and worrying have you chosen the right course or not. There's a lot of factors that go into it. And indeed, if university is for you, when I was admissions tutor, not everybody university is the best or the perfect or the right fit. There can be so many other opportunities, amazing apprenticeships that are out there at the moment, some which also lead on to degree qualifications if you want. Also amazing job experiences, work placements. I mean, it's true that the marketplaces can be tough and competitive, but it can also be really rich in opportunities. It's just, I guess, knowing where to look for those spots. So part of my job, I think, really as a tutor at the university is helping people explore, if university is for them, and if it is for them, which is the course for them to give them the best kind of start on their academic journey. So yeah, that was a really fun event, and we've got another one coming up. I enjoy those ones. They're different to open days. Open days tend to happen during the summer, and they're much more about actually seeing both the department and the campus. You've got to see where you'd be studying alongside where you'd be living, maybe where you'd be doing sport, washing your clothes, all that kind of stuff. Whilst the days that we're currently having are much more focused. They're for people who said, hey, I like the university space. I'm just trying to work out, is this the right course and the right location for me? So that was always good fun. But look, I won't hold up people who've joined too long for your lunch times. I know it's a lunch break. Well, possibly it's a lunch break, depending on what time of day you're watching this. But I just want to shout out, as always, thank you so much for the lovely comments on the channel. Thank you so much for helping each other. It's so nice to see it being used as a proper kind of academic chatting resource where we can all share our experiences and what we get up to. So thank you for being part of the channel. Please continue to be part of the channel. I'll keep on posting the Monday regular videos. If you have any particular recommendations or suggestions for topics you'd like to see, as always, leave a comment along with any questions. And if not, I will continue to share what we're up to at university. I think it's the next video Monday. It's probably on Monday. So in the next Monday video. But once again, thanks for joining these live sessions. Thanks for being here. And yeah, have a wonderful weekend. Bye, guys.